Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here and welcome to this week's episode of The Knife Guy. This isn't going to be a super long one because the topic is pretty simple. I've done episodes of The Knife Guy where I talk about how great the community is, and it is. The community is great. As a creator, I've found that I enjoy interacting with other creators as much as I do, the general community. In pretty much all ways, other YouTube creators are, no different. We're all the same types of people, but I feel very fortunate that I've developed some awesome relationships with some other content creators, some other Instagram accounts, and these people that I've met are just incredible, and they have influenced me and given me ideas and information. And I don't think a lot of people who watch my channel fully understand exactly how important other creators are to me, and how important my relationship with them is, and how truly integral it is when it comes to content on my channel. I talk about Nick Shabazz all the time, and again, it's just like I said in the April Fool's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, by the way. We had a ton of fun planning that. But Nick really did inspire me to start my channel over, 4.5 years ago. And I still to this day watch almost all of his content. I just enjoy it, right? But being able to communicate with him and talk and ask questions and say, hey, is this, really this, or what's your experience with this, right? People like Nick, Levon, the Knife Nuts podcast, along with Dave and, Brian Nadeau. I don't talk with him as much, but it's really nice having those guys around that I can talk to. Epic Snuggle Bunny, Dr. Frunky, Advanced Knife Pro, all of them just awesome people, and they've experienced in a lot of ways so much more than I have in so many different corners, that getting their input, not just on the object itself, but on the people behind the object, right? So people like Levon have, been around for not only a really long time, but have also, developed relationships with a lot of these makers, and they know, all of this additional information about how it's made, how it's put together. It makes it a lot easier for me not only to spend money on this stuff, but to bring it to you guys and say, hey, this is really cool, and here's why, right? If I didn't have people like Levon, to ask questions or get additional information, you guys would not get as much, right? It's very easy for me to be, super excited about something on the surface level, but to be exponentially more excited about it when I know, based on how much I trust these people I have relationships with, how much I know it really is a good thing, right? It's really something that I can bring to my channel and say, hey, most of the time it's really hard to get, but gosh, if you can get your hands on it, it's worth it, right? Just really, really cool. Kevin Cleary as well has just been a super awesome person. And, there's more. Just because I'm not mentioning specific names in this video doesn't mean that I don't appreciate them. I've interacted with so many different channels so often, and I appreciate insight. And a lot of these channels, you know who you are because I'll pop into your DMs with a random question. I'll find a video on YouTube about something that I know nothing about, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I know this guy. So I'll message him on Instagram and say, hey, what's your, can I get some additional information about? And people are always super kind and, ready to give as much information as possible, because it's important that all of us together have, we have our own opinions, right? When I do a video, I give my own opinion based on, my human essence that I put into the video and my tastes and preferences leading up to that point. But it is important to all of us as creators that we have the right information, right? We correct each other in a friendly way if something is not correct, much like the rest of the knife community. You guys will correct me if I'm saying Bowie incorrectly. I mean, you actually did correct me quite a bit when I did that. But yeah, I mean that's just one of those things. I can't say. There's no way for me to properly say exactly how much I appreciate everybody who's given me information. There are things that are shown now on this channel that would not have been shown unless I had gathered additional details from some of these people. And there are things that I used to show on this channel that I don't anymore. That was due to some information that was given, again, by some of these people. It's everybody has, everybody kind of digs their talents in different places and really gets in, to understanding a lot of this stuff. And it's important, right? Some people, I think, assume that YouTube creators just look for the next newest, shiniest thing, and whatever opportunity they have to generate the most income, then that's how the content is decided. I think the only people who think that have been a part of the knife community for a very teeny tiny little bit of time. Are there creators who do stuff like that? Well, sure. But if that's really, like, if you're dead set on that idea, you haven't been here for very long. I think it's real easy to notice when people are doing videos and the other thing is it's like, well, they'll just do it for the views. Well, if they're doing it for the views, then they're doing it for ad revenue, and everybody knows that ad revenue doesn't pay for crap. So that theory is also completely and totally out the window. The only way that you're going to make any money on views is if the algorithm just selects you and randomly throws your video through the roof. You need to get millions of views on a video to make any, good amount of money on ad revenue. So that's also really out the window. The funny thing is the more expensive the knives are, generally the less views they get, right? So there's not really any specific incentive in that way. It's really just about discovering something that really is great and has roots that are also great, created by people who are great, right? And then this news spreads amongst a lot of creators and people in general in the community, and we all want to share it because we all realize, yeah, collectively, you guys don't realize how much when I say we, other YouTube knife personalities, I guess, you guys have no idea how much we communicate behind the curtains, because we're trying to make sure, is this true? Is this accurate? Is this who's doing this, right? Is this how they are consistently being made, right? We try to check that. We try to check with each other as much as possible and make sure. That way, when we make content on it, right, a lot of times you guys might see very similar videos, very similar, types of information being put out on different channels. It's not because we're necessarily copying each other, but it's because we have communicated about this. One or two of us might know a little bit more, and then we get that information, right? We put our own opinions into it, but a lot of times that's why. And that's also why a lot of channels show a lot of the same stuff at the same time. Not always, but it's because sometimes we all get it relatively around the same time, or we're all interested in it at the same time because one of us is like, hey, did you guys see this? This is pretty cool, right? And I love that. I love that. And I can't say, again, it's really hard for me to tell you guys, or to explain this properly, how dependent I really am on some of these people. And I hope that I've been able to provide an equal amount of information to some of these other channels. I'm always happy, to respond when people message me looking for information. I think I'm kind of the hinderer guy. So that's where I'm like, yeah, actually this pivot will fit this one, but not if it's a skinny, and you have to check the generation, right? It's that stuff. So for those channels who have reached out to me trying to understand what hardware will fit on what hinderer knives, you can always reach out to me. That's what I can offer. But I'm so appreciative of these other channels just being so friendly and willing to offer information. And a lot of them will offer their own knives. If you're curious, trying to figure something out, when they have one, they just say, yeah, no problem, I'll send it to you. I can't tell you how many times Nick and Levon and countless other channels and content creators have just said, here you go. Here's $1,000 worth of my own personal stuff. Keep it for however long, review it, and send it back whenever you're done. That's so cool. It's just unbelievable. It's so easy. This is one of those things that Nick and I talked about. it's so easy for people, not just people who have come from other YouTube communities, but people who've been here for a long time. For whatever reason, people automatically assume that all of us content creators are competing against each other. And we all find that hilarious because it's actually extremely coordinated. The amount of work that we do together, right? Who's got more of this or that, whatever number, is absolutely meaningless to another creator, right? The YouTube knife community is massive, but it's also just a tiny grain of sand in the sea that is the potential YouTube audience. Literally half the world's population at any one time. So our numbers are our own, right? And our growth is our own. No real reason to compete with it. It doesn't make it. There's nothing in it for us to compete. There's literally nothing in it for us. So it's just, it always cracks us up because we love working together, and I can't believe how much else I have in common with some of these guys. Here lately, another name that I have to bring up, Eugene Kwan. But this is, with a lot of us, has nothing to do with knives. A lot of us, not all, but a lot of us are playing Elden Ring right now. And I very much enjoyed discussing it with Eugene and Nick and Advanced Knife Bro, and it's just and Everyday City Carry. Oh my gosh, I just love interacting with Ray. He's such an awesome guy. We're all playing it, and we're just talking about how we each have a different. We're all having different experiences with different bosses and things. I understand this doesn't have anything to do with knives, but it's nice to know. Just you figure out like. There's more to this person than just a logo and their content, right? These are people who like knives and have real thoughts and are willing to share them for the benefit of literally everybody else, right? No care in the world for any weird, it's just the whole competition thing. They have no care in the world for it because it's not an element. And I can't say how much I appreciate that. So I've enjoyed the Elden Ring chat with these guys. We'll get some of these knives that I know I've been ranting. It's the funny thing is that there's always at least one person going, what am I watching? Talk about the knives. This is Knife Guy. I upload 14 times a week. Yes, 14, 2 a day. I've been consistent with that. The channel's about 4.5 years old, but I've been consistent with 2 a day. Have not missed a single day in over 2.5 years. The other 13 uploads have everything to do with knives. Knife Guy is just kind of an end of the week ramble. This is the Varga VBR in Damas steel. We have the it's the Caraher. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. The 904 Integral. This was a gift from my buddy Scott, which is why it has the MC logos on it. We have the Strider and Medford 3/4 AR DLT exclusive edition in S90V. We have the Knife Nuts Podcast Edition Mini Tempest production version. This is the purple Fat Carbon and M398 Long Tanto. We have the Urban EDC Supply F5.5 Segaya pattern. We have the Crawler from Arcane Design. We have, of course, the Deadlock Model C. Best OTF in the world, period. And then we have the blacked out ProTech Malibu, textured, very beautiful. Of course, the legendary, why am I brain farting right now? Factor. Maybe I should just read it. It says Factor right here from Winter Blade Co. I know. Where do I get that? It's not yet. It's coming. The Hinder XM18, 3.5 inch, standard, tri-way, full titanium. The Blade HQ exclusive Spyderco Smock in titanium nitride coated CPM M4. Very cool. And then we have this CKF FIF 20 titanium liner lock edition with Zircotai bolsters and a Zircotai pocket clip. Very, very good. Very much love this knife. I think that's going to be pretty much it today. This still ended up being a 15-minute episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Shout out to all of the amazing YouTube creators. If I didn't mention your name, it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate you. You guys know who you are. There's got to be like 50 plus channels that have each had a hand in helping me get where I am today. And it's just been fantastic. I wish nothing but the best to the other YouTube channels out there that are providing their own unique information and at times shared information, between all of us. That's, we're lucky that we're still small enough that this is, a thing, and that it's real, and that real friendships are developed here on YouTube, and that, you guys, when you watch content, it's coming from people who care about each other, right? Care about you guys, care about the content that's being created. It's just, it's really awesome to be a content creator in this community. So anyways, I think that's going to be pretty much it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Knife Guy. If you did, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.